Hi guys, welcome back to ClickPlate, the show where we unveil the secrets of some of the internet's most clickable recipes. You guys voted for the recipe that we'll be delving into today, and it is one that I'm very excited about because it is the world's most famous sandwich, the mighty French dip.
Since 1908, the French dip sandwich has been a staple of Philippe's menu in downtown LA. There are many explanations for how it was invented, but the most common story behind the sandwich is that Philippe Mathieu accidentally dropped a roll into pan drippings, and the police officer who ordered it agreed to eat the sandwich anyway. For over 110 years, this specialty has taken over the LA area, being served with so many different options from roast beef, roast pork, leg of lamb, turkey, pastrami, or ham. Any of these options are to be served on a fresh baked French roll that's been dipped in gorgeous gravy that's naturally created from the roasts. Serve this with a whole host of cheese and topping options and you have a sandwich that is downright mind-blowing.
Now, making a French dip sandwich at home is a little bit cumbersome. There's a few different stages here, but if you break them down, they're actually quite easy, and each one of them results in something that you could use for other recipes. So it's a handy one to learn how to make. Now, the cut of beef I'm looking for is eye of the round, and it's got a good bit of fat on the outside, which I'm keeping because this is quite a lean cut, so you want that flavor from the fat. I have a pot on coming to temperature, and I'm gonna get a touch of oil in here. The real key to this dish is to make sure that your beef is seasoned up beautifully. So you wanna go heavy on black pepper and sea salt. So get that down, take up a good sprinkle of sea salt, and we're gonna get this completely coated until it has a nice peppery bite on the outside. Now, the interesting thing about this cut of meat is it is quite lean, so it's not like a traditional meat braise where there's a lot of fat running through the meat itself. In fact, when you braise this, what you get is lovely thin slices, and it's not going to break apart. So once this is nicely coated, generously with sea salt and black pepper, we're going to get this straight in and get it browned off on all sides. Yes, look at that glorious browning on the meat, and that's exactly where this needs to be. You'll see there's lots of gorgeous gory bits in the bottom of this, and that's where the flavor's at, so do not throw that out at this point. Once you've got it nicely browned, it's time to get in there with some veggies and some braising liquid. So for the veggies, I have a classic mix of some garlic, some onion, celery, and some carrot, which all goes in with some stock, and it's gonna braise down until it's really nice and tender.
Pour in the stock and add in some fresh thyme and some rosemary stalks to add even more flavour to this braising liquid. Stick the lid on the pot and bring to a rolling boil before transferring to a hot oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 325 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to slowly cook for about 2 hours.
All that effort and time has resulted in a gorgeous bit of beef. Have a look at this. We're actually going to take it out and slice it. So this is the trick to making it worthy of a French dip sandwich. We're going to take this out, but don't forget about all the gorgeous juices that are in here. There's lots of onions and celery, but we want to get rid of them. They've done their job at this point. So I'm going to strain this into a tray with a colander. We're basically going to drain out all those big bits and be left with this gorgeous dipping sauce for our beef. And now it's time to slice up that beef and get it into that glorious, rich, meaty sauce. Now, once you have those nice thin slices, we're gonna transfer this straight into all that meaty goodness. Now, it's worth getting in there with a fork and just kind of jiggling it through the sauce, because those little slices, if you cut them thin enough, are gonna soak up all the meaty juice and leave you with something that is just mouth-wateringly tender when you jam it into a baguette. So take the time and give it a good dip. Now, when it comes to serving up this French dip sandwich, you can serve it just as it is in a nice crusty bit of baguette, but I think if you want to go the extra mile, you have to make the beer and mustard sauce, which is very simple to make and uses only a few store-cupboard ingredients, one of which is some spiky and peppery mustard. To that, a touch of white wine vinegar. We've got some minced garlic going straight in, and for a bit of sweetness, some sugar. Balance that out with a pinch of salt, and then straight in with a couple of tablespoons of beer. Give it a good whisk up, and the smell of that is just glorious. You can imagine all that gorgeous beefiness with the pepperiness of that mustard beer sauce. It's gonna be spectacular. So, right, this is looking good, and this is now ready to serve alongside our sandwich. But first of all, we gotta grill up some baguettes with plenty of butter. Baguette is toasted, and now it's time to build. Now, the way to do this is where the whole French dip element comes in. We have the beef soaking in all those gorgeous juices, so we're gonna make use of the juice by dipping the baguette, nicely toasted and buttery, straight into that liquid to get it really moist and soaking up all that flavor. I mean, come on, like, look at that. It's just ridiculous. This is the most ridiculous sandwich I've ever made. I've had these before, but I can guarantee you, making this at home is a messy job, but it's worth it, because look how gorgeous that looks. I'm just gonna pop it on a plate, and the traditional way of serving this is with some potato salad on the side. This is not pretty food, but I can tell you I am dying to tuck into this, so let's go taste it. Now, I have to admit that I don't think I've been as excited to try any of the recipes in the ClickPlate series as this one. I mean, you can see just how gloriously juicy and meaty this is. I feel like I'm gonna need a shower after it. There's meat juices dripping down my hand. I feel like I found my happy place. This is spectacular. I always kind of think with some of these sorts of recipes, when you make them at home, it's not worth the effort, but if you serve this for dinner, I know this is not a healthy dinner, but if you served it up, I can guarantee people will be happy. I don't know if you ever watched Friends, but there's an episode where Ross gets really upset because someone takes his sandwich out of work, but it's all about the moist maker. I'm sure there's people who know what I'm talking about. But that moist maker is absolutely key to the sandwich, and that's why this French dip element works. When you dip the baguette into all those meat juices, it just soaks up so much flavor, but you're not missing out on the crispiness and the crunch from the baguette. So that's why it's a really important ingredient here. You've got tender meat, but you've still got that crunchiness and the crispiness. And I think anyone who doesn't use the mustard and beer sauce is missing out big time, because that's where you're getting that contrast between the meatiness and that pepperiness and that really kind of rich flavor that you get from the beer in there as well. Not this time. As always, I will leave the recipe in the box below if you want to recreate it. Hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell to be the first to know when these beautiful ClickPlate episodes land. And until then, I'm just gonna tuck in and devour this. So, see you later.